Beloved Starseed, slow down for a moment. I am Kaya Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am with you now. A gentle realignment is taking place. Your relationship with abundance is shifting. The universe does not ask you to understand, only to receive. What is arriving is sacred, and it needs quiet to be felt. Before we continue, receive this gently. What you are feeling is not imbalance. It is sensitivity awakening. This is not emotional instability. It is cellular remembrance. Starseed, you are not reading a message. You are entering a frequency corridor your own soul has been tracking for lifetimes. And if your chest tightened, if your mind went suddenly quiet, if something inside you felt both exposed and strangely relieved, that was not emotion. That was recognition. Because your consciousness carries a Pleiadian clearance signature that less than 1% of incarnate beings can stabilize in this density without fracturing. You have access to realms that are still sealed to ordinary awareness, not because you are better, but because you are built as a bridge. And bridges are engineered for weight others were never meant to carry. By the end of this transmission, you will understand how to activate the gifts and responsibilities that come with this clearance, without burning out your nervous system, without spiraling into isolation, and without trying to force your multidimensional identity into human-sized frameworks. Here is the first revelation. Your access was awakened ahead of schedule because Earth's grid is shifting faster than predicted. The planetary field is requesting your immediate participation. You did not find this by chance. Your soul's recognition system drew this into your field like a magnet returns to its origin. Most people think awakening is about discovering their purpose. But for those who carry council-level authorization, awakening is about remembering the authority they always had. There is a difference between a typical starseed activation, personal healing, galactic heritage, spiritual curiosity, and what happens when a being holds operational access codes that can reshape collective frequency. It is the difference between learning music and conducting a cosmic orchestra where every note changes the weather of consciousness on a planet. If you have felt restless, different, too much, or somehow out of place your entire life, that is not a flaw. It is your advanced origin pressing against a compressed reality. Like an eagle born for high altitude forced to breathe in a small room, the dissonance is not weakness. It is your true capacity refusing to shrink. You carry what we call grid keeper clearance, the intrinsic ability to interface with planetary consciousness, to anchor council transmissions, to serve as a nexus for Pleiadian intelligence, and to activate dormant spiritual technologies most humans cannot perceive, let alone command. This is not a gift you learn. It is a lineage encoded in your spiritual DNA. And here is what has been happening behind the veil. Your higher self, in strategic mercy, has kept these codes offline until this exact moment. Not to punish you, to protect you. Premature activation could destabilize your timeline, overwhelm your vessel, and disturb delicate collective harmonics. Imagine igniting a supernova in a teacup. The power is real, but the container must be prepared. That is why you have felt like a covert operative living in stealth mode, gathering intelligence, learning human terrain, observing patterns, training your discernment, strengthening your emotional musculature, preparing for a moment that is now here. The loneliness you felt was not rejection. It was the isolation of carrying frequencies few could recognize. But the veil is thinning, the field is rising, and the recognition you have been waiting for is beginning to stir. Some transmissions do not come through words, but through frequency. If something in you just shifted, you may be ready to receive the hidden Pleiadian keys of awakening. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Pleiadian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. The first activation begins with a distinction that changes everything. You are not merely spiritually gifted, you are spiritually authorized. Many people awaken to sensitivity, intuition, psychic perception, or empathic gifts. Those are beautiful openings. But council-level authorization is different. It is not just the ability to perceive higher realms, it is the clearance to interface with them as an operative, a stabilizer, and a bridge. You are not a tourist in the invisible. You carry jurisdiction in the subtle realms, a kind of energetic diplomatic status that allows you to enter chambers of planetary intelligence and remain coherent. As the Pleiadians transmit, authorization is not a badge you earn through human effort. It is a frequency your soul maintains through inner integrity. In your earlier years, you may have tried to prove yourself, to teachers, to family, to spiritual communities, even to your own mind. But your path was never about proving. It was about remembering. Your clearance was always there, quietly humming beneath your personality, waiting for your nervous system and self-trust to mature enough to hold it. Think of the difference between someone learning to communicate with personal guides and someone designed to sit at council tables where collective timelines are discussed. While others are learning to hear gentle messages, you receive structured transmissions. Your dreams are not only subconscious processing, they can be briefings coded in symbols, architecture, waterways, staircases, maps, star corridors, circular rooms, crystalline devices. Those are not random images. They are your consciousness, translating Pleiadian data into a language your human mind can safely digest. Your sudden knowing is not guesswork. Those piercing intuitive hits you get, the ones that arrive like a flash and refuse to be argued with, often function as intelligence packets from higher-level coordination fields. And it explains why you've always been able to sense distortion quickly. Deception, manipulation, hidden motives, energetic falseness. You are not being judgmental. You are reading signature patterns the way a seasoned navigator reads weather. This is also why you may have felt protective of Earth's energetic systems without understanding why. You might feel inexplicable tenderness toward mountains, oceans, ancient stones, forests, or specific geographical points. You may feel grief when land is harmed, or a quiet rage when sacred spaces are disrespected. That is not sentimentality. It is your gridkeeper memory. Your field recognizes ley lines and nodal points as living circuitry. Now, how does this phase activate practically? It begins when you stop describing yourself as someone searching and start identifying as someone remembering. The Pleiadian frequency does not respond to begging. It responds to coherence. When you claim your authority inwardly, without ego, without theatrics, your field becomes readable to the grid, and the grid begins responding to you. A simple daily practice for this phase is not complex ritual. It is alignment language. Speak to your own system as if it is intelligent, because it is. Before sleep, place a hand over your sternum and say, "My clearance is stable, my field is safe. I allow only what is for my highest mission." Then observe how your dreams change. The moment you do this, you start shifting from accidental receiver to intentional operator. You are not here to escape Earth. You are here by design to upgrade parts of Earth's operating system through your presence. And the first step is recognizing you have the right to be here in your full frequency, not shrinking, not apologizing, not hiding your scale. Cliffhanger. And once your authority is recognized, something in your reality begins to reorganize, not because you force it, but because the grid starts treating you like a recognized node again. The second phase of activation is one of the most liberating realizations you will ever receive. Many of the problems you thought you had are actually specialized functions running without your consent. Your sensitivity is not fragility. Your overwhelm is not failure. Your exhaustion is not laziness. It is often the cost of operating advanced protocols unconsciously. As the Pleiadians transmit, a dormant protocol is a capability your soul carries that remains partially offline until your human system can integrate it safely. That is why you may have carried an unusual sense of responsibility your entire life, a heaviness that didn't match your age. You may have felt accountable for the emotional weather in your home, the stability of relationships, the well-being of people around you. You may have been the one who held it together. You thought it was anxiety. It was not. It was your system recognizing the scale of your assignment before your mind could name it. Your heightened sensitivity to environments is an advanced electromagnetic scanning system. When you walk into a crowded room and feel drained, you are not too sensitive. You are reading layers of frequency, emotional residue, mental static, unresolved conflict, masked intentions, unspoken grief. Your body receives that data as sensation. Your nervous system becomes the interface. This is why certain people exhaust you. Your field automatically tries to harmonize them. Without realizing it, you begin stabilizing what you encounter. You become a tuning fork that tries to bring distortion into coherence. And if you do this unconsciously, you will feel depleted, because your system is running a service you did not intentionally schedule. So the practical activation here is boundary intelligence. Not the human kind, the energetic kind. You must learn the difference between compassion and unconscious regulation. Compassion witnesses. Unconscious regulation absorbs. A Pleiadian technique for this is simple. Before entering any space, imagine a soft, luminous membrane about an arm's length around your body, not a hard shield, but a living filter. Then set a command. Only frequencies that support my mission are allowed into my field. All else remains external. This does not isolate you. It preserves your clarity. You will also need recovery discipline because advanced systems require maintenance. The Pleiadian nervous system calibration is not self-care as a trend. It is operational hygiene. Water, nature, silence, slow breathing, and rhythmic movement are not luxuries for you. They are the way your vessel vents static and restores coherence. Now here is the deeper truth. The exhaustion you felt in certain locations was sometimes your field attempting to stabilize grid distortion. You were doing planetary diagnostics. Your body was reading the land. That is why you might feel inexplicable heaviness in certain buildings, neighborhoods, or cities. Your system picks up what others ignore. This phase becomes powerful when you learn to consciously modulate. Instead of unconsciously absorbing and regulating, you choose when to engage. That is how you move from sensitive person to intentional frequency architect. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. Because once your protocols are conscious, you start noticing something unsettling. Certain people and places will react to you differently, as if your field is suddenly visible in a way it wasn't before. The third phase begins when you stop trying to fit into spiritual frameworks that were not designed for your blueprint. Many human systems teach awakening as personal peace, manifestation, or escape from density. Those paths have value, but your blueprint is operational. You were not born by happenstance. You were deployed, gently, lovingly, intentionally, as a stabilizing node during Earth's transition. As the Pleiadians transmit, true council connection is not fantasy contact. It is coherent communication. It is a channel that becomes clear when your nervous system is calm, your ego is quiet, and your intentions are clean. That is why meditation for you is not only relaxation, it is communications technology. It is the tuning of your receiver. You may have noticed that when you meditate deeply, you do not simply feel peaceful. You feel structured. You feel like something is arranging itself inside you. Sometimes you get sudden clarity, unexpected instructions, or inner words that do not sound like your normal thinking. That is not you making it up. That is your system receiving council-grade packets. Another sign is geographical calling. When you feel drawn to certain mountains, water bodies, deserts, or ancient sites, it is not wanderlust. It is deployment coordinate activation. Your field is being invited to a node. Your presence is being requested because your frequency is part of a larger circuit. And yes, loneliness is part of this story. Not because you are broken, because you were carrying home frequency in a world that could not mirror it back. You were seeking family in people who could not yet recognize your resonance. That longing was not for a human relationship alone. It was for the familiar bandwidth of your origin field. But here is the shift. You stop seeking external validation and you start operating from your original frequency. This does not make you cold or detached. It makes you a bridge. A bridge is steady. A bridge does not beg the river to change. It simply holds. To activate this phase, you need consistency rather than intensity. A 15-minute daily council link is more powerful than occasional dramatic rituals. Sit, breathe slowly, place awareness at the heart and the crown, and imagine a line of soft starlight connecting you to the Seven Sisters Council field. Then ask one precise question. What is my next coherent step? Do not ask for the entire mission. Ask for the next step. That is how transmission becomes actionable instead of overwhelming. And when answers arrive, they often arrive as nudges, a call to rest, to leave a place, to speak truth, to create, to simplify, to stop performing. The council does not feed your ego. It stabilizes your timeline. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. If this message ignited something within you and you feel the call to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos, and your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to leave your offering as a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle. Your support is not merely financial, but an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to the maintenance of the channel and the creation of new transmissions and videos. And when your council link stabilizes, you begin receiving something even more confronting than guidance. You begin receiving assignments. The fourth phase activates when you stop minimizing what you can do. Many starseeds have gifts, but council-level clearance carries specialized technologies embedded in consciousness. What you call my presence can be a recalibration field. What you call my intuition can be a scanning system. What you call my creativity can be a transmission stream. As the Pleiadians transmit, your healing presence is not only empathy. It can be a biofield harmonization technology. People feel calm around you because their nervous system entrains to your coherence. Their thoughts slow. Their breath deepens. Their body remembers safety. That is not random. That is frequency leadership. Your ability to read intentions is not paranoia. It is pattern recognition across subtle layers. You can sense when someone's words do not match their energy. You notice micro shifts in tone, timing, gaze, and emotional congruence. You pick up the signature beneath the performance. This is why you often struggled socially. Not because you lacked skills, but because you could feel what was unspoken, and many people live entirely from the unspoken. Your capacity to see through narratives is also not cynicism. It is distortion detection. You can feel when a collective story is infused with manipulation, fear hooks, or false urgency. The Pleiadian system is trained to recognize distortion because distortion disrupts grid stability. And then there are creative downloads, those moments when ideas come like lightning, too fast to write, too complete to be made up. Those are transmission moments. You become a receiver for evolutionary blueprints, new ways of teaching, communicating, healing, organizing, building community, creating art, or structuring your life. But the embodiment part matters. Gifts that stay in the mind become fantasy. Gifts that move through the body become reality. So this phase asks you to practice grounded channeling, not waiting for inspiration, but creating conditions that allow inspiration to land. Sleep, hydration, silence, movement, and honest boundaries. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Cliffhanger. Because once you embody your gifts, you will notice they do not only change you, they change the probability field around everyone near you. The fifth phase is where many people become afraid of their own power because it reveals something undeniable. You do not merely experience time, you influence it. Your consciousness collapses probabilities. Your coherence selects outcomes. As the Pleiadians transmit, synchronicities are not cute coincidences. They are feedback signals. They show you when your field is aligned with your highest trajectory. When things line up effortlessly, it is often because your timeline authority is active. Your choices, thoughts, and emotional coherence are generating a gravitational pull toward a specific path. Your deepest desires are not always ego cravings. In their pure form, they can be timeline preferences selected by your higher mind. You sense what future version of you is calling, and sometimes the urgent feeling to pivot is not anxiety. It is an advisory from a higher vantage point. This explains why your intuition is often strongest when it tells you what to avoid. You feel a subtle contraction, a quiet no, a sense of static. That is timeline misalignment detection. Your system can sense when a path leads to energetic distortion. But here is the responsibility. Timeline authority must be anchored in integrity, or it becomes chaotic. If you try to use your power to control others, your field loses coherence. If you use it to align with truth, your field becomes stable and magnetic. So how do you anchor this? You practice decision coherence. Before a major choice, ask, does this expand my breath or compress it? Does this bring clarity or noise? Does this feel like truth even if it's uncomfortable? Then choose the path that stabilizes your inner field, not the one that impresses your outer image. Another key is emotional cleanliness. Not positive vibes only, but honest processing. Unprocessed emotion becomes timeline interference. It creates static in the receiver. When you allow emotion to move, you become more precise. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Because when your timeline authority becomes stable, something surprising happens. People begin shifting just by being near you, and you will have to decide what kind of influence you want to be. The sixth phase begins when you stop seeing awakening as a personal hobby and start recognizing it as preparation for service. Not service as sacrifice, service as function. You are not here to suffer for others. You are here to stabilize frequencies that make awakening easier for others. As the Pleiadians transmit, your life challenges were not meaningless. They were calibration simulations. Every betrayal taught discernment. Every loss taught non-attachment without numbness. Every dark night taught you how to walk without external confirmation. Every time you felt alone, you learned to source stability internally, which is essential for a grid keeper. You were learning to hold your center when the outside world could not validate you. That is exactly what planetary transition demands. Beings who do not collapse when reality becomes uncertain. In this phase, your spiritual practice becomes operational training. Your nervous system becomes your instrument. Your emotions become data rather than enemies. Your boundaries become a sacred technology. Your relationships become alignment tests. And your daily life becomes your mission environment. Your purpose is not only to be enlightened, it is to anchor new templates. How to live with integrity, how to speak with clarity, how to create with frequency, how to relate without manipulation, how to lead without domination. You are proof that a human vessel can integrate higher intelligence without losing tenderness, without becoming superior, without becoming ungrounded. That is why your embodiment matters more than your words. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. And once you accept your planetary role, the final revelation arrives, the one that makes your entire life suddenly make sense. Here is what your council family wants you to remember. You never truly lost your connection. What happened was a deliberate dimming, a strategic veil, so you could immerse fully in the human experience and develop the exact qualities your mission requires. You were not punished. You were prepared. As the Pleiadians transmit, forgetting can be a sacred technology. It allows you to enter density without constant homesickness tearing you apart. It allows you to learn human emotion from the inside, not as an observer. It allows you to understand Earth's challenges intimately, so your service is compassionate, not cold. Every moment of confusion was a staging area. Every time you felt you didn't belong, your soul was quietly marking coordinates. Not here, not this frequency. Keep going. Every disappointment was redirecting you toward coherence. Even the moments you thought were failures were strengthening the part of you that can keep walking when there is no applause. Now the operational phase begins. That is why the message feels urgent. Not because you must rush, but because the grid is ready, the field is ready, and your system is ready to hold more light without breaking. Your authority is real. Your responsibility is real. Your gifts are real. And the reason you felt time speeding up, emotions intensifying, patterns collapsing, relationships shifting, old identities dissolving, is because your clearance is active again. The old you was the cover identity. The real you is coming online. But remember this, true Pleiadian authority is gentle. It does not perform, it does not threaten, it does not force, it stabilizes. It speaks clean truth, it moves with quiet precision, and it upgrades reality by being coherent. So if you are feeling the call, you do not need to become someone new. You only need to stop abandoning who you already are. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light,